Good morning, everybody. My name is Dan Spots on behalf of the Dalles Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Dalles Chambers Community Affairs. Today is the 22nd, and our guest this morning, Danette Utley with Mid-Columbia. Utley? Diane, did I get it right? Utley. There we go. With Mid-Columbia Senior Center and the Alzheimer's Respite program there. And Danette, we'll turn it over to you in just a few minutes. But first off, we're going to go around the table and ask for people to identify themselves and give organizational updates, things going on around the community. And we've still got people joining in. That's wonderful. And at the end of the presentation toward the top of the hour, I'll talk about a few chamber events coming up. But let's go ahead and start off with Trish Neal, calling in from the great state of Alaska.
Good morning. I am a longtime member of the Dalles Chamber of Commerce, and so I am calling in from Alaska. But I still have my toes in the Dalles. I am on I help the original Wasco County Courthouse, and right now with Julie Reynolds' help, I'm updating the Wasco County Pioneer Association website, which I designed several years ago. So but I'm the regional manager for Legal Shield here in Alaska. So I'll put my contact information in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you, Trish. Corliss Marsh, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Corliss Marsh with Habitat for Humanity and the library, and also the Senior Center, College Foundation. Good to hear Danette.
Thank you, Corliss. Scott McKay? Scott, you're muted, sir.
Nope.
Nope, still muted. Okay. I'm going to come back to you in a second, Scott. Bill Lennox.
Good morning, everyone. Good to be here this morning. I'm with a North Central Public Health and also Six Rivers Dispute Resolution Center. And just an update real quick. Six Rivers has rented some space in the St. Paul's historic St. Paul's Chapel, and I attended a workshop there on Tuesday, and it couldn't be a better space in there for Six Rivers to practice this Circles of Peace program that they've been funded with. So I'm just really pleased that we were able to come up with that relationship for Six Rivers and also for the historic St. Paul's Chapel.
Good benefits all the way around. It's a beautiful site. Yep. Thank you, Bill. Mike Wacker.
Good morning, everybody. I'm with the Kiwanis Club and Fort Dalles Museum. Fort Dalles is actually, the 3 days are open, is actually getting quite a few people coming in. So more than I thought would happen this time of year, which is a good thing. Also, Bob Pollock is going to be one of the speakers at the old Wasco County Courthouse in February. And if I remember right, it'll be the first one. And the Kiwanis Club is already starting to think about the stake feed and put together a committee and get that done. So y'all have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Mike. We might want to put the old courthouse on the schedule here and talk about that history series coming up. Roger Nichols. Oh, Roger, you're muted.
There you go. I have to unmute my mic on the mic as well as that, so it takes me 2 steps. And by the way, nice segue, because that's what I'm going to mention. I've been on the board for a couple of decades now, and do want to quick start it up on Saturday the 7th. We actually have 5 programs this year. Victor Johnson about the Hebring House. David and Kristen Benko on the 14th on Valentine's Day about the Jansen Beach Carousel coming to the Dalles. The 21st, donation land claims of the Dalles by former Wasco County Surveyor Dan Bolt. I will be doing a program on the 28th, the other Mayor Mays, the one that was elected in 1871, not the one in 2019. And on Saturday, March 7th, Robert Pollock of the the Fort Dalles Museum will be presenting The Boys of 61 about the Grand Army of the Republic. So all those are coming up very shortly. And I will say we do have some prizes this year for people who attend, including a treasure chest, and you could be an instant millionaire with it. And we'll tell you about that more later.
Fascinating. Thank you, Roger.
Roger,
Roger?
I just posted the schedule in the chat.
Super. Thank you much.
Thank you, Trish, for doing that. Cool. Julie Reynolds.
Good morning. I'm Julie Reynolds. My main activities are Fort Dalles Museum, which Mike has covered so nicely, and the historic St. Paul's Chapel. I wrote a small grant application and got it to support some of the additional costs that Six Rivers, whom we're happy to have at the chapel, to cover those costs because they're extra. And I'm going to be on a national level Zoom this afternoon to see if it would be worth writing a grant proposal to sacred places. That's all.
Congratulations, Julie, and keep folks on this call and others in mind when it comes to letters of support for grant applications. I'll bet you get a lot of feedback on that.
Thank you.
Certainly. Rob Garrett.
Good morning. For whatever reason, my camera is not working. I don't know what happened, but I'm here honest. So Rob Garrett, Mid-Columbia Senior Center here, just here to support Danette today as she presents what's going on here, one of our functions of the Senior Center among many. Anyway, I just want to be supportive of Danette, and it's good to see all you guys.
Thank you for joining us, Rob. Good to hear
You
from you.
bet.
Salvador Torres.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Perfect.
Hey,
Awesome.
Salvador, we can hear you.
Hey, my name is Salvador. I'm here replacing Dave Peters. He is officially semi-retired. He is now taking Thursdays off, so he only works Monday through Wednesday. I spoke last week. It's basically the same thing. One thing that did change within the last week or so, our office is now officially a HUD approved office. We have so now that is actually kind of huge around this area because it provides ability for us to be able to apply to multiple different types of grants and stuff. So we're in the works with a lot of things. I think I mentioned last week that we got a grant for the community land trust model for Carson, Washington. That's moving along pretty quickly. Mariposa Village in Hood River, still looking at a time frame of opening it up in 2027. That's the apartments that are being built on top of Ixtapa over by Hood River. We got two home repair programs for low income in both Wasco, Sherman, and Hood River counties. We actually have two programs currently right now. So if you guys know of anybody that are trying to fix up something in their home that is low income, please send them our way. We just finished closing up the Washington home repair program, but we're working with the counties of Klickitat and Skamania to be able to apply for different funding to be able to provide additional home repair funding in those areas. Trying to think, that's pretty much it for now.
A lot going on with the Housing Authority. Thank you, Salvador. Chenoweth Loop, any updates there? That's okay. We'll come back. Scott, how you doing? How's your mic?
I'm good. I'm good, Dan. I'm using my iPad instead of my computer because I lost control of my laptop, and so which is not a good thing. But anyways, Scott McKay. I am a volunteer for Circles of Care, and I've been very fortunate to know Danette for many, many, many years. And I don't know if many people know this, but when I was the director of the Mid-Columbia Senior Center, Danette was the one who came in and said, you know, we need to have a holiday bazaar here at the Mid-Columbia Senior Center to complement the St. Peter's because they're out of space. And so it was, if you've ever attended this very successful Mid-Columbia Senior Center holiday bazaar, that was initiated by Danette back. I can't I don't know how many years ago, but it's been a little while. So thank you. Thank you.
That's fascinating. Thank you, Scott. Good to know. Let's go to Judy, 120006. Judy, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am.
Hello.
Good morning. I'm Judy Merrill, and I'm just here to support Danette and the wonderful job that she's doing with the Alzheimer's Association and with the respite, the new Cherry Blossom Respite that she'll be talking about.
Very
Thank you.
good. Thank you, Judy. Good to hear from you. And Colleen Ballinger.
Hi, I live in the Dalles and I'm here also to support Danette. I'm interested in all things dementia related.
Thank you, Colleen, for joining us. And with that, I believe that we have touched bases with everyone here. Danette, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay.
All right. If you have slides, I could make you co-host, or for now, tell us whatever you want to do.
I'm not exactly sure what to do with that because I'm not the most smooth, technically capable person on Zoom, and I would rather not bog the group down for that.
Take it away. I'm not either, so welcome to the party.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay. I am Danette Utley, and I am a Dalles native. I was born and raised here. So watching the town grow and change has always been a very interesting thing, and change it has. I am the program coordinator for Cherry Blossom Respite. Thank you, Judy, Colleen, and Rob, for being here, and for Corliss to suggesting, and always to Scott, just our celebrity about town. So we had our grand opening event yesterday at the senior center. We had about 25 people come, which is great. What respite is a break for caregivers, and we're looking at specifically home caregivers, perhaps a spouse, a son, a daughter. I reached that age myself where parents began aging and needed more help. And sometimes dementia creeps in, and it's been there waiting, and symptoms start to develop, and they need more support. And there's probably not anyone who has not been touched by someone's experience with dementia, either firsthand, knowing someone, or knowing someone who is dealing with it. So what Cherry Blossom Respite aims to do is to give caregivers a break so they can rest and recharge. Kai Nichols looked into the definition of what respite is, and she found one that was to turn and regard again. And so just like when you're looking for something in your home or on your desk and you just can't find it, you've got to step away and come back with fresh eyes, a different perspective. And that is helpful in so many ways. For caregiving, it helps you to be a better caregiver ultimately by taking care of yourself. And the other benefit, which is right alongside giving the caregiver a break, it is giving the loved one a break as well, a different environment, different activities, opportunities for socialization. And it's just a wonderful thing. My background is working in senior homes as an activities director. I have done that for almost 20 years and have witnessed a lot of journeys into where dementia starts to form and change someone's relationship, change someone's way that they do life. And the secret for the person is to continually adapt and come back and look at what they can do. When you are a son or daughter, that may not be so easy because of the relationship and how you have known that person for your life. My heart really began going out to caregivers, and some of them do it quite well, and some of them have difficulty and the relationship becomes strained. And so what we do at Cherry Blossom Respite is to provide that break to ease the strain so they can come back and be a son or daughter and just love their parents. So, or loved one, whomever it may be. So some of the activities that we provide are social, cognitive, exercise, music. You might hear the word psychosocial. It's a combination of different things. And I like to do it in ways that are just fun and spark curiosity and spark comments. We're based upon person-centered care, which means that going into participating in the respite program at the senior center is we want to know about their background and what they're interested in, not just now, but what they've been interested in through their life. Dementia has windows and glimmers that will open up. And I'm kind of like more with later stage folks. There's just ways of reaching people. And I believe with all my heart, regardless of what stage, that person is still in there intact with their memories. The manifestation of their person and personality is what is having trouble getting out. So we want to find ways, all different kinds of ways to reach and stimulate memory and cognitive process and socialization, finding ways to get a smile, to get a reaction. So some of the things, oh gosh, one of my favorites is noodle ball. I found as an activity person, a lot of folks enjoy tossing and throwing things. It's an easy way to kind of level the playing field. I have been working with Tanya at Sunshine Club in Hood River. Some of you may be familiar with that. They've been around for 30 years and their process and business is so smooth and so moving and delightful to see how they engage people, how they make group activities. Their folks are pretty high functioning right now, meaning that they're able to have conversations and move about and do crafts and do fine motor skills, do trivia relatively with ease. And that's an early stage. When it advances a little bit, it's a little more bogged down sometimes for conversation or engaging or remembering. And you just have to come at it with different things. And so like the tossing, there's art therapy. At our event yesterday, I had our aqua paints out. And what this is a picture that has been covered up with a white substance. I guess it's just plain old magic. And when you put water on it, the colors come through. So it's a way for somebody to paint a beautiful picture without necessarily having to create it, measure, evaluate, choose colors. It just happens. And it's just lovely. It was so special to get to watch folks create that and just be engaged, like just really focused on that. And their loved one is talking and visiting with other people at the tables. Some of the things that I've found success with are word games in my previous jobs. That's a great one. Sorting activities. Sometimes as simple as taking a deck of cards and having someone, hey, can you check and make sure we've got all the cards here? Well, you've got to count them. You've got to divide up the suits. You've got to sort. You've got to put things in order. All of those simple things are ways of engaging your brain and different parts of your brain. So there's a lot of different things and ways that I will come at things to help somebody engage and work that memory. So that is kind of how this is. And I'm looking at my materials here that we had. I only have 3. I like to keep it simple because then I can remember. There's 3 ways that you can get involved with Cherry Blossom Respite. First of all, is telling others. And I'm so excited for Judy, Scott, Colleen, and Rob. We had 100 brochures yesterday. I am left with 46. So unless you guys have pocketed them, which is okay, we have word going out into our community of how to get in touch, how the process begins, and getting the word out about us. That's going to be our greatest thing, is just word of mouth, because what'll happen with dementia and taking care of someone in the home is you sort of become isolated. It's easy to stay in a familiar environment, and this is okay, but it does limit how many of your, not how many of your senses, but it just can affect the way that your brain works, to have everything routine, to have everything great. And I'm not knocking routines at all. We must have those. But to get some socialization, to get a new environment, to get something that your brain has to go, oh, I've never seen a little automated cat before. It's responsive. And the more that you touch it, it'll blink its eyes, it'll meow, it will raise its paw. It's something different. And so that helps the brain to keep functioning. And it's fun. So for some folks, if you like cats, I found out yesterday I need to get the dog too. So gotta be equal there. So telling others, we're looking for volunteers. First thing that people think of is helping run the program, and I definitely need folks to come in and do that. It's a way of just giving back and helping others and being there and having some fun yourself. It takes different shapes. Being able to clean and tidy up, sanitize things before they get put away, cleaning the room, maybe setting up the room beforehand. There's a lot of things that come out on tables. And also, I'm looking for someone who might want to make a newsletter at some point down the road. If someone has experience or would like to do that, that's another volunteer role. People could also volunteer to do like a class, a demonstration, perhaps bring in a pet, whatever you got, whatever you're interested in, if it's an art demonstration or playing noodle ball and just being with folks. Give me a call. We can figure out how to plug that in. We do training for our volunteers, and it'll come through the Alzheimer Association with one of their online classes and care partners, and then some conversations with me. You don't have to be a dementia expert. You don't have to be a certified nurse. It's simply wanting to help people and being someone who cares. And just like you would look out for a brother, a sister, a mom, a dad, and make life more fun and interesting for them, that's where it starts. It starts in the heart. The other way to help and get involved with respite is support. If you've got donations like a game, supplies, something you think we might be able to use, that's something, give me a call, run by it. We'll see if we can use it. Just like Scott, I'm just famous for trying to save money and get things. And it's just the greatest way to help people, in my opinion anyway. But if there's other things, the grant that we received through the Alzheimer Association and the Center for Respite Innovation, we have a 2-year grant, and that funding is good. It's going to carry us through to get us off the ground. At the end of 2 years, that funding is not going to be there. So we're going to get creative and look at ways of how to extend that. One of the questions that came up yesterday is, what is the cost of the program? Right now, it is free. We are looking at how to establish a cost that's going to make the program self-sustaining and be affordable for folks to be able to bring their loved ones. We had some different questions come up yesterday with being able to drop someone off for a portion of time. We're set to operate on Wednesdays from 1 to 5 at the senior center in the Deschutes room. This is the room downstairs. And it's great because you can actually go around the senior center to the lower parking and come right through the door, right into that room. A few folks were really surprised to see that. They did not know. So that's there. It's an easy drop off. We have restrooms really close by. It's an easy room to be in. It's very comfortable. And gosh, what else? Looking at self-sustaining. Other things that might take place, that will take place down the road, is fundraising. What can we do? The Sunshine Club in Hood River just this month opened their brand new building that is next to the Fish Food Center. It's a freestanding building designed by their program director, Tanya DeHart, and it is beautiful. It is an activity director's dream. There is storage, there is open space, and there's a wonderful kitchen with a peninsula that comes out. One of the things that I was just so taken with was they have, I call them hairstyling chairs, salon chairs that have the pump on it. So it adjusts the height so people can get at the right height to have their arm up and be able to stir and do baking activities on their counter and feel like they're in a kitchen. The other thing that they have is adjustable lighting that will actually adjust to how much light is outside. So it'll go brighter or darker depending upon the reflection and provide great with, oh my goodness, 19 volunteers. And they are, I hope everybody can hear me. I had a funny window pop up. Is everything still okay?
You froze. From my perspective, you froze for a few seconds, but I don't know if that is you or me. It might have been me freezing too.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just want to make sure. So they did 19 volunteers. They have, she's like a nurse. She's not a nurse. They have a CNA on their staff and they're affiliated with Providence. So they're coming through Providence to have this program. Gosh, what else do they have? Besides a lot of wonderful activities. Gosh, I guess the best thing for me to do instead of rambling is to open up to questions. What would folks like to know or prompt me with to talk more about?
Danette, this is Colleen.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Colleen.
I just want to put a plug in that a lot of your activities are specially selected by you to do exactly what you said, spark curiosity, spark the brain in different ways. And everything there is successful. Whether you put the puzzle piece in according to the picture doesn't matter. You put it in. And that painting project, no matter how much they apply the water in different ways, it's successful. It brings out color. So I just want to commend you on that. And when people are able to feel needed with a meaningful task, that also brings good feelings. So they're not failures. Like at home, they didn't put something away the way they were supposed to, but here you're giving them a deck of cards, and however they sort it is the right way.
Yes.
And they feel like they're being helpful. So thank you for your good selections on all that. I know you did a lot of research on that.
Oh. Amazon is always a good thing to stay awake with late at night.
Danette, I've got a question in terms of geography. What area do you serve? Wasco County alone, or is it broader?
It is more broad than that. Wasco, Sherman, I'm hoping we can catch maybe some of the overflow from Hood River. They have a waiting list for their program, and they are opening, I believe, a fifth day. They've just gotten so established, and the word is out of what a wonderful program it is. I had a call early on from the Clickitat County Senior Services Division, and they are interested and so supportive of getting the word out to prospective clients. We just don't have anything east of Hood River in this fashion that provides specific respite for someone on the dementia journey and for caregivers who are dealing with that.
What about capacity?
Danette,
Oh, Mike, go ahead. Go ahead.
you mentioned Providence. Have you had a conversation with Adventist, the Gorge, Columbia Gorge?
I have, it's funny, I have not had a conversation with them. And I work for them in the hospital in the kitchen. And so that could be something that perhaps our advisory board might take up. And I wonder if perhaps Scott, you might be able to speak more to me about Adventist and their relationship with the dementia friendly partnership.
I'm on the, excuse me, I'm on the Patient Family Advisory Committee, and I bring up the Dementia Friendly Wasco County Partnership every other meeting. And so, and they've been supportive, but we probably would be a good idea to reach out, even though in these difficult financial times, maybe there's ways they can help support to recruiting volunteers and that type of thing too. So I think, like Mike suggested, like the partnership they have in Hood River with Providence, I think there would be some way to have a partnership with Adventist here in the Gorge and in the Dalles. Thank you, Mike, for the suggestion.
Danette, I was a question about capacity. I remember writing a letter of support a long time ago. There are a number of people that you can serve at any one time. And how does that work?
Our goal right now is to be able to serve 6 people. I have one and a number of inquiries and curiosity from yesterday from the people who attended the event, and both participants and volunteers. Rob, you may have to remind me of the magic number that we have for our capacity in the senior center.
Well, I'm sorry about my camera. This is weird. Anyway, the capacity, I think our goal was to get up to about 8 if we could possibly at full service. We'll run out of space probably at that point. And then I think at that point, the goal would be after that to add more time, more days. And I don't know how that's going to work in light of how the building here at the senior center is so busy. But I figure we cross one bridge at a time. You know, I'm going to mention one thing while I have my microphone on. So one of the things that didn't bring up was the steering committee that was in place before we actually got the grant. There actually were the people who were pursuing the grant, and Scott, Colleen, Judy, I believe, several, I think the Merricks, I believe. I can't remember all the people who were involved in that. Ronnie Hyde. Those people put together this grant so that we could have it. And the reason they asked us to take it at the senior center is because we're a nonprofit who can have the grant as the rules stipulate, I believe. And so, it's kind of just landed in the senior center's lap, kind of a real blessing for us to be able to house this program. Where it goes from the senior center forward, it may need its own building like they've done at the Sunshine Club at Hood River, just because of space. I mean, there's no way on earth we can service 40 people a week like they're doing in Hood River, but boy, would that be a great dream to have. And I think that's where it's going. this is the nucleus of it right now, and we have to grow little baby steps until we get established and planted. Another thing that Danette didn't bring up, unless I missed it while I was dozing, I don't know, I could have been asleep with my camera off, but is maybe we're searching towards ways or trying to get Medicaid approved so that the funding can come through that source. So when we do start charging, someone can bring their loved one in, and there'll be funding opportunities that will pay for the program, and it won't be a burden on people. I don't know if you mentioned that or not. My computer glitched for a few seconds.
No,
So
I did not. Thank you for following up with that. So,
That was one of
and
my,
then
go ahead, Rob, go ahead.
yeah, the last thing as far as area, I would say that we're Columbia Gorge area, and we can service these rural counties, from Sherman County, South Wasco County, Clickatack County as needed in our Goldendale, Dallasport, Lisle. And I don't know if we would get into White Salmon, maybe they're part of the Sunshine Club, but I guess I don't think we've got any stipulations as far as who can come. I think they just have to be, and then would you go through, if you can think to do this, the process? Say I call with a loved one and say, hey, I'd like to get involved. What do you do from that point forward? Maybe explain that too. How do you get people in when they do call? I know we
okay.
have a little bit of a plan. I'll get off now. Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks, Rob. So when someone, let's say that it's their dad at home, they make a call, they send an email saying, I want to talk more about how to get my father into the program. We're just going to have a conversation and go through, like, tell me about your dad. What is he like right now? There's some guidelines that have to be met for participation in the program. These are being able to follow cues, relatively easy to follow cues, being non-combative, non-aggressive, and having managed incontinence. That's one of the things that is not normal, but a common thing that happens with our elders. And so being able to use the bathroom with minimal assistance, being able to just kind of know when they need to go. So we go through those things. If it's a yes, and I find out a little more about them, their backgrounds, their interests, and we set up a time, we plan a time for them to come see the program in operation. So if we have, like right now, I have one person who has been coming for a couple months, and it's a good time for them. They would come and see a group functioning, and this is to see how they do with a group. With some folks, being around a whole bunch of people can be a bit daunting. Some people, they're going to naturally gravitate to it and want to get involved because they don't have that at home. They need a little more social stimulation. So we're going to test that out. We're going to see how they do with activities, what appeals to them. The caregiver is able to stay with them to make sure that they are comfortable. And then ultimately the goal is for that caregiver to step back. For some folks, it's going to be great. Okay, see you later. I'll see you in a couple hours. This is my time now. I'm with my friends and we're going to do some stuff. For other folks, for whatever reason, it may be a little bit more difficult to step back. The caregiver is welcome to stay and be one of my volunteers to be able to be with their loved one. So that is what the day looks like. With the time of it going from 1 to 5, the person should have lunch before they come. We will provide coffee or a beverage, water, cocoa, and a snack like a cookie, something, just a little something to go through the time. They're welcome to stay for the whole time. They're welcome to leave when the person comes and gets them. So I hope I answered that question.
That was one of my questions. That's great. Julie, go ahead. Julie, you're me.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hit the wrong button. Danette, I heard you give a community talk up at St. Paul's Episcopal Church, and there was a lot of interest. You did a fantastic job. Are you doing other community talks?
Yes, I am available to do other community talks. I'm actually a volunteer with the Alzheimer Association, and my role is a community educator. So I've gone through their training to be able to provide their classes and facilitate classes and conversations about the topic of dementia, including caregiving skills, the path of dementia and what happens, resources that are available. And it's really great. St. Paul's was so special because we had so many people just vulnerably share what they struggle with. And it just was lovely. It just was such a great time and great community there. If anyone would like to have a presentation, please contact me. There's specific ones. I have all the papers, I have all the handouts, and I'm glad to work out a time to keep this conversation. Dementia is kind of like the elephant in the room. We know it's there, and people just don't want to speak up and address it. But that's actually what we need to do. And we all know there's strength in numbers, there's strength in shared experiences. And one of the things, what happened yesterday was 2 years in the coming with the board, which is now the advisory committee, investigating and developing this and partnering with the Alzheimer Association for our area. And the 3 areas that we're targeting are respite, the Cherry Blossom Respite, education of the community, and support. How can we reach people? How can we help them get the tools and not feel alone? So those are the 3 main spokes on our wheel.
Danette, it's a 2-year program. When did it start, and how long? What's the as we work towards sustainability and keeping it going? What's the timeline on those?
So I believe that it was July of last year that we got the grant. The program is at the 6-month mark at the end of this year, or at the end of this month. So CDRI has a wonderful program with mile markers and the things to do to develop these. They actually sent me to Chicago to be with 54 other program coordinators who had either startup programs or were in their 2nd year. And it was a great time. So it'll end in approximately a year and a half. And the nice thing about these programs is we suit them to our areas. We have to suit them to our areas to reach our folks. So some of them have different models. I may be going off on a rabbit trail here. Some of them have different models. Like one of them I was really kind of intrigued with. Rather than having a location that people come to, they have their volunteers go into homes of people and be with them there so the loved one can leave. I think there's great advantages to that. The person stays in a familiar environment. And you asked about the time of the grant, 2 years. So in a year and a half, we will be at the end of the grant period.
Rob, you have your hand raised.
Yes.
I just want to jump in real quick without interrupting Danette. But so yeah, she's right on the right track. We have a year and a half left. She's absolutely right. July 1st was the beginning of the grant. Danette came on a little later in August. It took a while to get all that in place. And we're not alone out here as far as the grant is concerned. We have a great deal of support from CDRI. We have at least 2 meetings, if not 3 a month, that are Zoom meetings. We have a personal, I would call her our counselor. I don't remember what her title is, named Natalie. And
Technical assistant.
Whatever her title is, but she has several cases like ours on her load. And once a month, or if not twice a month, depending on what we need, we meet with Natalie and discuss everything that's going on. We discuss things as small as budget situations and what we need to be doing with our money, as to what we're doing as far as outreach and the program that Danette did yesterday. And she is there almost we do is send an email and we can have a conversation with her. She's even called me a couple times about different little things that we needed to deal with, and we didn't get to at one of the calls. So I would say the grant themselves, the people who run that grant, they're very good. And they're not recreating the wheel. We're a startup group, but they already have been doing this for a year before us. So I think Danette's well supported from that end of it. And as far as getting us solvent so that we don't close, we need to figure out how to fund it properly. And it can be through, many different ways. As a nonprofit, we can accept large donations and all that kind of stuff. Also, if we can get Medicare to support that kind of thing, just like anyone would get, say, if they were going to take their loved one to Flagstone, that kind of thinking. Not that they would be staying here, but the same kind of financial plan. And for self-payers, it might cost a little more, or for people on Medicaid, we would get that money there. So that's where we're heading down the road. I hope I didn't overspeak on that. I think we're about right, aren't I, Danette?
You're spot on. And that's why I really am so grateful and love getting to work with Rob, because he is able to speak on that stuff. My first skill set is being with the people and helping them and helping the caregivers and stuff. Rob is the one that's more the technical person behind me with the numbers and the forms and doing that. So together I think we're a pretty good team. So
one thing I don't want to forget is we've got the chat box open here. Let's certainly put contact information. If I just dropped off of the planet someplace, what is the Mid-Columbia Senior Center? Where is it? Now, I'm not asking those questions. I've known about it for 40 years, but for new folks, this is recorded and it's placed on the Chamber website. And Danette, a question I would have for you. Sometimes the Columbia Gorge News a reporter will listen to the recordings afterward and do a story on it. Would you be okay with that? I could
yes, absolutely.
I can call it to Tricia's attention. She's the editor, and that will generate additional awareness. Question I've got, though, we mentioned the Sunshine Club in Hood River. Do we know anything about their funding model? Are they a Medicaid or
No.
No?
Sunshine Club is private pay.
Okay.
And I'm sure that there's grants and different things that they can apply to. They are very, very well supported in their program. So they've been around so long, and so their foundation is very strong and far-reaching.
Okay. They have a foundation, 501c3.
Well, no, I'm saying the base foundation of the operation.
Understood. Scott, go ahead.
Just to add a couple of things that just talking about the dementia friendly Wasco County partnership that started, and that includes the Alzheimer's Association and the Mid-Columbia Senior Center and Greater Oregon Behavioral Health Incorporated and Circles of Care and the Dalles Rotary. And that partnership, a little bit of history is that we had training through Gobi on getting to know dementia, fantastic training. If you ever have a chance to take that training, I would highly recommend that. And then the Alzheimer's Association, Oregon Alzheimer's Association, got a grant to reach out to rural communities. And when they came out, we had one of our first meetings and we identified these 3 different areas that Danette talked about: education, support, and respite. Respite being the one that we thought was going to be the tough one. We thought, well, that's not going to happen for a couple of years. But because of the steering committee that included Colleen and Judy and others, we like Danette said, we wrote the grant and received the grant and were accepted. And then I always have to point out that we did not have a nonprofit to actually do the program. And we reached out to the Mid-Columbia Senior Center, and the board agreed to take this on. And to me, that was a big step, and maybe a step based on faith that we would be able to be successful at this. So I always have to make a big plug for the Mid-Columbia Senior Center board and for Rob's leadership in pushing this forward. But one of the main things that the Wasco County Dementia Friendly Partnership is about is reducing the stigma that's associated with dementia. You know, there's a quote that dementia does not take away the dignity of an individual. It's how we treat that person, how we interact with that person who's living with dementia. That's what takes away the dignity of that individual. So it's really about learning more about dementia and the different types of dementia, Lewy body, Alzheimer's, vascular, I think frontal lobe dementia. Colleen knows much more about that than I do, but it's a whole effort to reduce that stigma and to acknowledge dementia and know that life will continue. And it may be challenging, but it will continue, and there will still be great days ahead. And just kind of to make our community more dementia friendly, and so just moving forward in that regard. And as you can tell, we're very fortunate to have Danette leading this effort in this respite program. I don't know exactly what we would have done if Danette had not decided to be involved as the director of this program, but we're very fortunate. And I just have to, and a big plug to all those folks. Another regarding dementia, the dementia virtual tour that we had at Episcopal Church, that was Colleen led that, and Judy's been a tremendous advocate, visited the Sunshine Club many times, and so we have a real active, involved, dedicated, and passionate steering committee support group to make this community more dementia friendly. And one of the key pieces is the Cherry Blossom Respite program. So I just have to shout out to all the folks who made this happen.
It takes a lot of people, and it takes one key person, that magic combination. And it sounds like we found it with all of you and with Danette. Danette, that point person, who making this happen too. Good work.
Yeah,
I see that. Judy.
I just wanted to say before the next person talks and stuff, I'm just one of the spokes, and I get to be the face and be with the people. But in my involvement with Scott and everybody and being invited to participate on this, it's really amazing because everybody on that advisory committee is so essential in the roles and the backgrounds that they bring. So it's a really strong team. I call them the rowing club because we're all going in the same way.
Judy is trying to ask a question, and she's having some technical issues on her side, I think. Judy, can you unmute yourself? Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me, Dan?
Yes, go ahead, Judy.
Okay. I just want to thank you, Dan, and everybody that is here. And I also want to put a add to our 3 categories that we began with 2 years ago were, like as mentioned, education. And with that is the virtual dementia tour that Scott just mentioned, and then respite. And the third one is the Memory Cafe that we have done at the St. Vincent's Ministry Building down on Pentland Street. And we have a committee that works with that. And it's been, we've had, I think, about 4 or 5 of them. And right now, the next date is not set, but it's been once a month for those 3 or 4 times. And we're working on having more. And it's for, I think, an hour and a half or 2 hours each time. And we've had I think three participants and their caregivers that have come to that also. And the Alzheimer's Association has helped us with that. And so, Scott, I don't know if you want to add any more about that. And then also, along with Danette, because of all of her, all the demands and responsibilities, I don't know if Rob or Danette wants to add about Mike coming on board too, to help with the high technology and the computer data that needs to be entered with the program and also with marketing. So this way, Danette can spend more time in the being the queen that she is regarding the respite. So I don't know if Scott or Rob or Danette wants to add to any of those things, but I'm just so proud of our community for doing what they've done, and it definitely has taken a village. And the steering committee and the different committees, we're revising those committees, and we have now a respite advisory committee, and we have the memory cafe and the education. So those are the three components: education, memory cafe, and respite. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
I'll speak about Mike real quick. It won't take long. We brought Mike on because Danette has been very frugal in the amount of money that she has spent in the first 6 months of the grant, and we had a surplus. And it goes calendar, or July to June. So whatever we don't spend by the end of the month is left over, and we were able to employ Mike to get this done at part-time level, obviously. And he's come on to pick up a lot of the slack where Danette was just, as she said, she's working at the hospital too. And these are part-time jobs, but it's almost a full-time work in a part-time job. And so we were able to divide that up and give Mike was one of the applicants for the job to begin with that Danette took. And so in that grant, the extra money we have now, we can use that. And we have permission from CDRI to proceed and get two people basically working the program, one the technical end and administrative end, and then of course Danette running she is the face of the program. It's not what Mike wants to do, and I think it's a good fit. He's probably just coming on the last couple of weeks, and it's really already been a huge impact. So,
all right, thank you, Rob. Danette, anything to add to that? And Colleen, it sounded, I don't know if you were trying to join in there for a second.
If there's a moment, I just want to say there are over 70 types of dementia, and there is no cure, only care. And that's what I think Danette's doing a great job on.
Thank you, Colleen. I think we're closing in on the top of the hour here. We have contact information for Cherry Blossom in the chat box. I'll be reaching out to Tricia. Any other questions for Danette? Alzheimer's Respite Care. This has been a fantastic presentation. Really appreciate everybody, all of your everything that you're doing here on behalf of a lot of it's an essential service. So keep up the good work.
Thank you for that opportunity to share. Thanks, Corliss, for the suggestion.
Thank you, Danette. With that, I'm going to close with one brief announcement on behalf of the Chamber. Totally different topic, but if you are looking for activities these gray winter days, keep the Frosty Trail in mind. This is a shopping initiative, but there must be 20 businesses easily taking part in this, and you should all be receiving the Chamber news briefs. It's called the Frosty Trail. It runs January 19th through February 19th. So look for details on the Chamber website. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close up. Again, I appreciate it. Danette Utley has been our guest this morning. The Cherry Blossom Alzheimer's Respite Care at Mid-Columbia Senior Center. On behalf of the Chamber, everyone, thank you very much, and we will see you next week.